I want to, on 828, I said, pick up your stick. A viewer or a listener of mine made this, and we have, unfortunately, we get so much mail. We had 3 different mail locations that it comes into, and when it was delivered to me, it didn't. It was just the stick, so I don't even know who made this. If you made this, will you please contact us? Our lives, we pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor, and it is 3 snakes like Moses and his staff. I have said to you before, pick up your stick. Be a leader. You don't want to, and you may not even know what's in store for you. You may not know where we go, but pick up your stick. I'm going to talk to the audience here in a second about their stick, see if anybody has kind of an inkling on what it is. First, before we do that, I want to introduce you to this picture. To me, this is the picture of 828, and it may only just be me, but it was because I said, bring your son. Bring your daughter. There will be someone there that will be the giant that we will build another memorial to. I don't know if it'll be Addison or not, but it will be someone. Rochelle Jones was not there. This is her husband and her son, and she's with us now, along with the rest of the family. Rochelle, tell us what happened. First of all, introduce your lovely daughter here.
This is my daughter, Aubrey.
Yeah.
Tom had talked to me on and off about trying to attend the rally and take Addison with him. And our whole family couldn't be there because I had 3 young daughters at home. But I even tried to talk him out of going, or out of taking Addison with him.
Because you were worried about violence?
I was, well, yes, yes, that was in the back of my mind.
Sure. We were too.
He had no plans either for a hotel or anything. He was basically going to sleep on the sidewalk so that he could get tickets for the Friday night event.
Didn't work out well, did it?
No, he didn't.
No. All right.
He didn't get there in time, so basically they camped out on the mall, and
you were happy about that. Your son and your dummy husband sleeping out in the middle of Washington D.C. at night.
My 9-year-old out there was a little concerning.
Sure. Your husband, yeah, whatever.
I figured he could take care of himself.
Yeah. Okay. So then the next morning, I came to the mall. That was Friday morning, and I was doing some pre-show stuff. Now he was in trouble with you at this point. Is that right? You're in trouble?
Potentially.
Yes. And you called and said, hey, we didn't get the tickets, but we're okay. The next morning, I came, and you were part of the prayer circle that I just happened to walk over to this area.
Right.
And I remember seeing the 2 of you, but I don't think we spoke, did we? Maybe just said hello, yeah.
Briefly, you looked at a picture on my camera.
Okay. And this whole group of people, they were all strangers. Everybody was strangers, and we said a prayer together. And then later that afternoon, I came back, and my photographer, the guy who took this picture, George Lang, spotted you 2. He didn't remember you from the morning, and he said, oh my gosh, you have to, he could see something in your eyes. And he said, you have to give it to this father and son. And when I turned around and came, I recognized you from the morning, and I gave you the tickets, so you did go. Right. What is going through your head right here?
I kept repeating to you, we're going, right? Yeah.
When you went to 828, did you take the challenge? Did you as a family take the challenge?
I think we've talked about the challenge. We haven't signed anything.
Well, I know there's no.
I don't know if there's. I don't know if there's a signature.
We will have him sign later, yeah.
Yeah. I think what some things that we've changed. I've started praying on my knees to put myself in the right place.
People think that's. I've gotten so much mail from people saying it doesn't matter, and you know, in some ways it doesn't, but it does. What is the change for you?
If I pray on my knees, and at night when we're tucking the children in, I pray on my knees now, by their bed, and I think it just puts me in a proper position in relationship to my Lord.
And I think it also, you know, I can't tell you, our children are watching us. The tools that they need, they are learning right now. They are learning what's important and what's not, what has value and what doesn't. our place in the world, our place in the grand scheme of things. All right, I want to talk about the sticks, and I want to talk to Addison before we end the broadcast tonight. So I want to go back to anybody who has found their stick. We'll go to that next. It is my firm belief that we're all born for a reason, and we're all in a certain place for a reason. It's whether or not we choose to do the things that we're supposed to do or not. And that path always leads you to a place of peace and goodness and harmony, not to a place of destruction. I've asked the audience to pick up their stick, and a lot of people think, well, I don't have a stick, I don't have any role, but you do. You're in the right place with the right set of tools, and you may not even know what it is that you're supposed to do, even all the way up to your death. You'll only find out, I think, on the other side, and you'll say, oh, crap, that was it? I didn't do it, or, why? Yeah, I did do that. I didn't know that was it. Toots is up here from New York. Your stick is?
My stick was music. About 2 years ago or so, I just started writing music about America. Just, you know, I'm a rock and roller from New York, and nobody in New York's
You're
writing
from New
music.
York? I would have never...
Yeah. Born and raised. And all of a sudden, I just started writing music about America. And the way I look at it, if my music can touch one person,
yeah,
and that one person tells somebody else, and
you know, it doesn't even, you know, it's really amazing, because I've talked to a guy who wrote the biography that everybody should read. It's on Bonhoeffer. And I was talking to him last week, and I said, you know, he said, I just felt like I was supposed to write this. Now that book has influenced me. And so he wrote it because he felt he was supposed to. I've read it because I feel it empowers me to do the things and helps me learn on the things that I'm supposed to do. And I looked at him and I said, wow, look at this book. You wrote it, I read it, and now who's out there that's really supposed to use it? What purpose does this have? We're not the center of the universe. We're just one little piece of the puzzle. Keith, you said you found your stick, or you...
I was saying that what the Lord actually asked Moses was, what have you got in your hand? So I believe that we all have our sticks, and that God can use whatever we have for his plan and purpose whenever it is. Moses was faced with the tremendous obstacle of the Red Sea in front of him and the Egyptians behind him. What was he going to do? And God says, what have you got in your hand? And of course it was the stick which he held up. And
it's the only, because we have it in our hand already, if it was handed to us, we might think this is a sacred stick. But because you're holding it, because it's your talent, because it's your position, because it's what you did, there's nothing special to this, this is mine. That is the secret, to get over the fact that it's a stick and know that you have a divine purpose.
And also that he can use whatever it is that you have.
Right.
You said a very important thing just at the beginning there, where you said we were all created for a purpose, and that's what we're going to be judged on, was the purpose that we were created for. And this is the only time that we have to do it.
Does anybody else here feel like this, it is very clear to you? I tell my staff all the time, I hope you're keeping a journal, because you are at the center of history for the rest of the world, for the rest of time. People will look back at this time and they will try to figure out what this group of Americans were thinking, because we either failed or we succeeded. And what was it that we did? What was it that we were thinking? I mean, does anybody else feel the sense of history that we're living right now? Good. Is it Alex? Yeah, Alex.
For my wife and I, we feel that our stick is our daughter. She's 3 months old, and every time we look at her, we know our perspectives have changed. We have to do, or everything that we do now, we do for her. And everything that, you know, we have to make sure what we're doing is not only the correct thing, but the right thing to do to keep our country the way it should have always been, what the founders have wanted.
I I sense that I have 4 children myself, and I've actually, to my oldest ones, I've apologized and said, I just want you to know, no matter what anybody ever says, I didn't know. I really didn't know. We were just going blindly. We didn't know. When we come back, I want to continue that conversation just a little bit, talk to Joan, and then to Addison about what the future is. Back in a second. All right. Got to move quickly. Joan, you said your stick.
I believe that my stick I've discovered is my approach. I can give you an example. I was at a 9/11 protest and someone yelled out and called me a bigot.
Right.
All I wanted was the mosque moved from ground
Right.
zero, nothing else. I realized at that moment when I responded in an angry way that I really needed to work on my approach, and I have been doing it, and I find that I can influence more people doing it that way, and it's helped me.
Yeah, and it's also just healthier. I mean, we
Yes.
were just talking in a break that you don't have to win. You just don't change who you are fundamentally, and anger and all of that just changes you. It's poison. It just rots you to the soul. I want to ask Addison here because Addison, you're 9. Yeah, 9 years old. I said to your father, through radio or television, bring your son, and he did, and probably got in trouble with your mom. And what will you take away from this? What did you learn? What happened? Anything?
That I'm something smaller than, like, I'm like a small portion out of a big bubble, and I'm just one part out of like a million parts.
So in other words, the world doesn't revolve around you.
Yeah.
Have you I mean, I was 37 before I learned that. What have you been doing with your family that's changed?
We really haven't been staying home a lot. And we've been.
Are you guys like on a circuit or something?
No.
Or were you guys church-going people? You were?
Yeah.
So, and you said when you got back to 828,
Yeah.
you just put the challenge to work just through your faith.
Yeah.
What have you noticed, if anything, the change in faith since you already had it? Any?
Yeah. I've seen God take our family, my wife and I, draw us closer. I've seen him guide me in our church. I said to you during the break that when we got home, we looked at our spheres of influence, and our relationship with God first was strong. Yeah. Our marriage was strong. Our relationship with our children was strong. So the next sphere of influence was our church family.
Yeah.
And there were things in our church family that we went to our pastor, we did things the proper way, we went to our pastor, we went to our elders, and that now is growing wonderfully.
Yeah.
And it's been a blessing to, this event has been a blessing through all the people who've been there.
I tell you,
many.
This is why I wrote, how could this change the U.S.? It's going to change the U.S. in miraculous ways and faster than you might expect. It will change by starting to change you in your home, you with your relationship, you in your office. And it's a fire that now can't be put out. It will dramatically and profoundly change America, just as the last 2 great awakenings have in the past. Final thoughts next. Go to glennbeck.com or foxnews.com and take the 40-day challenge. All the information is there. We'll see you again from New York. Good night, America.